Right everyone, WeaponCollector here. This should be part 10 of the how to make a pump action crossbow. At this point I'm starting to think my pump probably isn't going to work. It may be because I haven't been able to do a pump as thick as I wanted to. That may be why it's jamming. So, but what I'm going to do anyway is finish it off and act like the handle is working, because yours may work. So the next thing, what you need to do is finish off this handle completely. So you should have rounded over all the edges by now, and then all you're going to need to do, if the washer's sticking out like this, like mine is, just grind that to the right shape or file it, you know, to the contour of the actual handle, and then get off any paint ready for whether you can either have it bare metal or you could spray paint it, but you're gonna need it all smoothed out ready for that. So you're gonna need to take the handle off for that. So take the handle off and do that, and then just set that aside because that's the handle finished then. And then what we'll do, we're going to put this piece of wood on next, and then the top sight, the front sight and the trigger guard. So the first thing we'll do this first, and then we'll go to this. So just imagine that's done, because all that's going to be is a bit of sanding anyway. The next part is this piece of wood, so I'll show you what you need for that now. Right, I'm not sure what the plans say, because the plans I've got, the old plans I made, which I haven't changed yet. But what you're going to need is a piece of wood, a piece of 12mm ply that needs to go to at least 10mm behind the nut, so about there, to the edge there. So that's how long it needs to be, and then you're going to cut it to the contour of that curve there, and it needs to be as wide as the wood. And then what you're going to do, you're going to put your spring on, make sure your spring's on. Actually, can't quite do that bit yet, because we'll do that bit last. Right, actually we won't do that bit of wood. What we'll do first is we'll sort out all the internal parts of the crossbow first, so that we don't have to take it apart anymore. So you do your handle, and then we're going to have to take the crossbow apart. So do whatever you can, whatever you have to do to take it apart to get inside. Actually, take off both. You're going to have to take off both side plates anyway. So take the handle off, take off both side plates, take the crossbow apart. We're going to take the spring back off of the trigger nut because that's not working. And then we're going to add the front sight, and then we'll go on to the other parts, and then it shouldn't need to be opened again then. So first thing is take the two side plates off and break the crossbow open, you know, open it up. Right, this is what happened. As you can see, it's completely ruined. So take that out, take that screw out, take that screw back off, and then put it back together, and we just have to have it as a you know, hand adjusted nut. Right, so that's that. Get rid of that, screw it back together. Don't put the side plates on, because now we're going to do the front sight. So remove that spring and those two screws, and then screw the stock back together, but don't put the outside plates on. Right, you screwed it all back together now, you've took that spring off. Now we're going to do the front sight. That's the template for the front sight. It needs to be originally just this size, and then you bend it into that shape. Now if you get your plans, you can see that the sight is behind, in front of the hole there. You can have it there, it's up to you. You can either have it this side, or if you feel it'll be easier to do it this side, do it this side. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. It can be either side. I'm just going to have a look. I think I'll keep it this side, then I can screw it using that hole. So what you need to do is cut out that piece of metal that size and bend it to that shape, and then you bring it to here. What it needs to be is bent so that it will fit on the stock but underneath the metal plate, so it doesn't have to be bent round here. The bends have to be the same as this, if you know what I mean, because we're going to cut a little groove in there to fit the sight in there. But I'll show you in a minute. So first of all, cut that out and then bend it to that shape, which I'll show you in a minute. Alright, just be aware that what shows up on these bends here may actually be wider. When I just looked, that's actually wider than it should be. All you need to do is just measure out how thick the stock is and then bend it on the inside of those lines. Alright, that's the actual thickness of the stock, so bend those. I recommend bending it so that if your metal same as mine, the metal bit's on the outside, less work, and bend that and then start cutting the groove for that. Right, once you've got your metal bended, just lay it on. You want it sticking up, you know, about that much. That's about 20mm, I think. Mark around the metal, make sure the metal isn't overhanging the prod hole. Mark round and chisel out the same thickness as the front sight, and then lay it on, but don't put, you've got to drill the holes as well, match it up for these, or if they haven't got a hole there, don't bother. And then when you put the outside plate on, you can put the screw straight through the outside plate and into the front sight. Right, so get your sight on like that, your front sight, and then you want to put your side plates back on over it, like that. And then for that hole you just have to drill a little hole. So at this point you can now put back on the two side plates, drill that hole, and then that's the front sight and that done, and you shouldn't have to open the stock again as far as I can remember. Yeah, that's it I think. So yeah, do that now, put your two side plates back on and then drill through and add the screw, and that's your front sight put on. Right, once you've got your front sight on, tidy it up as much as possible, because we're not going to take that back off now, so any filing that to tidy it up you're going to have to do with it on. Don't forget to put your nail back on. Now we're going to put this back plate on, which is just a bit of 12mm ply. I don't know how big I said on the plans, but it needs to go from about approximately 10mm back from the nut, or as close to the nut as possible so that it can still spin round. So it could go a bit closer, but about there. Bollocks. Right, about there, and then you're going to want to cut it off at that angle. So you can cut it straight and then do it afterwards. So it goes to the contour here, and it wants to be as thick as the wood, because it's going to sit on flush, not as wide as the plates, but as thick as the wood, as wide as the wood. And then put that on, and then you're going to screw that on in about 4 different places. One there, one there, one there, one there, I suppose that'll do. Don't forget to put a little groove in the bottom of this piece of wood to accommodate the nail, remember, otherwise it won't sit flat. So work out where it's going to be, add a little groove in the bottom of the plate, screw it down. Right, you should have this little back plate on now with some screws in that are countersunk. Now we're going to do the back sight. This needs to be as wide as that piece of wood, and I don't know if I marked out how long it would be, but what you want to do is you can either measure this length and then just add that much on, or it may say, I think that's it there, 15cm by 32mm. May not be exactly 32mm, you just want to match it up for there, and then bend it into this general shape. May need adjusting. Yeah, just do that now. You can just do that any way you want. pretty easy. Alright, so when you come back you should have that back sight and bolt holder done and ready to put on.